I looked closely and I swear I was certain I saw something. I could see someone pacing back and forth. Once again, Nightmare Files. My name is Harry, and this happened about 9 years ago when I was 10 years old. Growing up, it was just me, my brother, and my mom. We didn't have a lot of money and we moved around a lot, most of the time in rough neighborhoods. We moved into an apartment building when I was about 10 years old. It didn't take us long to get settled in. My mom gave my brother and me a task to help out. My brother would go out and get groceries and work side jobs if he could, and my task was to do the laundry. One day I went down to the first floor with a basket full of laundry. I walked into the laundromat and started putting clothes into the machine. That's when a man walked in with a laundry basket of his own. He was about in his early 40s. Light bright hair that was slicked back and big 70s styles glasses. He didn't say anything, but every now and then I would look across the laundromat and would see him staring at me. I tried not to look, but I couldn't help but check, especially when you're being watched. After some time, the man left the laundromat, which left me feeling relieved. Later that day, after finishing laundry, I was heading outside with my brother and a new friend to play baseball. Before exiting the building, I looked to my left down the corridor to the laundromat, and I saw that same man from earlier. He was peering around the corner, looking into the laundromat. What was he doing, I thought? Was he actually looking for me? He was being very sneaky. I left the building before he had a chance to turn around and see me. About 3 or 4 days passed before I needed to do laundry again. The first thing I saw when I walked into the laundromat was that man. This time he spoke and said, "Hey, I didn't know you liked baseball," while giving me an unsettling smile. How did he know I liked baseball, I thought. Has he been watching me, following me? I said, "Oh yeah," while letting out an awkward fake laugh. I walked past the man and towards the washing machine. The man didn't say anything. Instead, he just stood there watching me again, still with a weird smile. Thankfully though, he left shortly after I was able to continue doing my laundry. One evening I was bored and I think there was some electrical problem in our apartment. Because of that, I wasn't able to play video games or watch TV. So I decided to do something productive and do some laundry. I went down to the laundromat and began doing the load. That's when the lights started flickering. And at the same time, the man came into the laundromat. As soon as I saw him, I felt faint. He walked slowly up to me, looking up at the lights flickering and said, "I think there's going to be a power outage." I looked up at the lights as well and said nervously, "Yeah, I think so too." I looked at the man and he just gave me a creepy grin, just like before. At that point, the power did cut off, and the laundromat, along with the rest of the building, went dark. I was stuck in the dark laundromat alone with this man. He then grabbed both of my arms really tight and pulled me close to him. And he said to me, "It's okay. You don't have to be afraid. It's only the dark. It's fine." Before I could say anything to tell him to let me go, he covered my mouth with his hand, then whispered to me saying, "Shh, it's okay. Don't worry." I remember thinking at that point I was about to die, thinking that that man was about to take me away. And it was pitch black in the building after all. And the exit to the building was just down the corridor. The lights then flickered back on. And the man said to me, "See? I said everything's gonna be okay," then letting me go from his tight grip. I remember standing there frightened. The man walking past me, and he left the laundromat. I never saw that man again after that, so I never mentioned it again. I sometimes think if the lights didn't come back on, would he have tried to take me away, or worse? This story happened to me about a month ago. The apartment that I live in isn't in a good area, but I haven't got that much money, and it's all I can afford currently. Thankfully, I have a washing machine in my apartment, and I don't have to go to the laundromat. Unfortunately, my washing machine broke. It was on a Saturday evening, and after calling a repairman to look at it, he told me he couldn't fix it until Monday, as he didn't have the time or equipment that evening, and the next day would be Sunday. So I had to do my laundry in a nearby laundromat, which was in a neighborhood that I try my best to avoid. I would be out all day Sunday, so I had no choice but to go to the laundromat that same Saturday evening. Going to the laundromat in a neighborhood I don't go to, especially at night, was quite unsettling. I walked into the laundromat and saw it to be empty. I didn't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing. I guess good, as there was no one around to bother me. I sat down on the bench scrolling through my phone as my laundry was in the washing machine. I still didn't see anyone outside or inside, and I didn't see the owner behind the counter either. I then started to hear some kind of scuffling in the back room behind the counter and a loud thud. The door was slightly open, but I couldn't see anything. I was about to get up and leave because I thought something bad was happening, like a robbery taking place, and I didn't want to get caught up in that. But before I got up, a man opened the back room door, and he looked at me and turned away. He came out less than a minute later, this time wearing a different shirt than before. He must have been the owner or something. I remember thinking that. He gave me a friendly wave and a smile and stood at the back of the counter. Some time later, he went into the back room and I didn't see him again. My laundry was done and I went home. The next morning, I couldn't believe what I saw on the news. The owner of the laundromat I was at the previous night was found dead in a pool of blood early that morning. And the picture of the owner wasn't the man that I saw the previous night behind the counter. It was rumored that the owner was in some kind of money trouble and didn't have the money to pay what he owed. It's scary to think that a murder took place in the room next to me and I had no idea about it. And the suspected murderer came out and waved to me as if nothing was going on. I told police what I saw, and as far as I know, the suspect hasn't been found. My name is John and I'm 35 years old. I'm a security guard and have been for a while now. About a year ago, I got a job working night shifts at a small hotel. My job will be sitting at a desk watching a computer monitor, which was connected to a few cameras located around the hotel. And every hour or so, I would get up and patrol the area. This one night, I was sitting at my desk scrolling through my phone when I took a quick glance at the monitor and saw there was someone in the laundromat, which was located in the basement. There shouldn't be anyone down there at the time. I remember thinking that, which was past 2 a.m. I should mention that the camera quality wasn't the best, but it was good enough to see when something is going on. So I went down to the basement, turned my flashlight on, and spoke out. "Is anyone down there? You need to leave right now." I tried to sound confident when I said that, but I'm not sure if it came out that way. Going down into a dark laundromat basement in the middle of the night is pretty creepy, especially when you saw someone in there. And what's more creepy was, no one replied. And there was no one down there. I went back upstairs to my desk. As I mentioned earlier, the camera quality wasn't the greatest, so I brushed it off to being a glitch in the footage or something. I continued looking at my phone, but this time more cautious to the monitor. It wasn't long before I noticed something on the screen again. It was in a laundromat. I looked closely and I swear I was certain I saw something. I could see someone pacing back and forth. Once again, I went down to the basement and into the laundromat to check, shining my light and asking who was down there. There was no reply. I couldn't see anyone in there. The laundromat wasn't that big, so I could clearly see if someone was in there. And it was empty. I was so confused and at the same time frightened. How can I see someone on the camera, but the room was clearly empty? Just as I was heading back upstairs, I heard a bang. Then a continuous banging. I shone my flashlight into the laundromat and I saw one of the washing machine doors was swinging open and shut by itself, slamming into the machine each time. I slowly walked up to the swinging door and put my hand in front of it, and it stopped. As soon as I stopped the door from swinging, I heard a whisper in my ear, and something grabbed my shoulder. I jumped and turned around, seeing nothing but an empty laundromat. I ran upstairs and out of the basement, back to my desk. I looked at the monitors again, and this time there was nothing on the screen, except you could see that the washing machine door opened and closed by itself. I rewound the footage back to see if I could see something that I may have missed. The only thing that I could see, though, was me walk up to the washing machine door, stopping it, and me getting frightened and running out of the laundromat. I could make out one word from the whispering I heard in my ear, and that was leave. The next night, I struggled to get through the night shift. I kept watching the monitors expecting something to happen, especially in that laundromat, but I never did. I was too scared to work there after that, and the following day I told my boss that I was leaving. I'm not a superstitious man at all, but I honestly believe that what I experienced was 100% supernatural.
Nightmare Files.